What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode number 77. Today is going to be a Wandavision re-review, or in the case of us, we never reviewed it together, so a review for it. Some announcements before we get going. Next week will be a re-review or review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier, as Alex and I didn't get a chance to review it. We knew each other at the time, and at the time of WandaVision, but we didn't have this podcast going, so we're going to review that in the time that there are no shows running or no movies out. So we're going to take some time and review those two shows. We will also be having a Phase 4 discussion next week. Big stream. Going to be really fun. We're going to discuss our thoughts on Phase 4, maybe give some rankings of Phase 4, and talking about, how we feel about it. Also, in the coming month, the schedule is going to get a little bit wonky for us. The next month, I am fine. But Alex has a job opportunity, so the streams may be starting now around 8:30, possibly 9. And then I'll announce it later, but probably late August, early September, it may just be Alex for a little bit as I transition into college. And we don't know what day. We'll try to find a schedule, but we will see. It's a wait and see type of deal. But at least for the next month, we will still be Wednesday, just a later Eastern time, around 8:30 or 9. But you've heard enough of me. So, Alex, how are you doing today, my man?
I am very hot right now. It's been death hot today. So I've just been trying to take it chill. Been working on my Moon Knight Crescent Blade that I printed. So while I'm kind of not taking a break from Mjolnir, just kind of didn't want to hear my printer go for 12 hours. Was waiting till I went back to work to print the one of the last parts. So yeah, just been doing that, just chilling out. Broke my light switch somehow, so
just a dark room.
No, it works, but like it doesn't go down all the way. It's actually like if it's supposed to be straight, it's like pointed that way.
Oh, okay.
Don't know how I did it. I just came home from work one day and it didn't work properly. So
interesting. Yeah, it's been oppressively hot in the United States everywhere. Obviously, I'm in the Northeast. The humidity is the worst part. It's not even just the heat itself. I can deal with. The humidity is it's tough. It's just like a bunch of. The best way I can equate it is you're trapped in heat. Like it's just instead of being trapped in a box, it's like you're trapped in heat. Like right as you go outside.
Yeah, it's like 80 degrees up, but you got 3 sweatshirts on, 3 pairs of sweatpants, 3 like knee-high pairs of socks. Boots. That's what.
And I try to at least get an hour of physical activity outside a day, which it's actually not bad because you sweat and that cools you down, right? Obviously, it's obviously a mechanism for you to cool down, right? Yeah, a positive feedback loop. Shout out anatomy and physiology right there. But yeah, so it's not bad when you get going and lather up in it, but. That sounded wrong, but you know what I mean.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah. So that's enough of us talking. I wanted to kind of burn some time because this might be a shorter show. I'm not sure. Who knows? Maybe it'll be a longer discussion. I don't know. But we're going to, as I said earlier, review WandaVision and preview San Diego Comic-Con. It's gonna be a fun weekend, I think. So, and we will also, another announcement, I presume, Alex, we think we'll be live afterwards, maybe?
Yeah.
I assume a trailer or two might drop, or we'll get some news for sure. But, and specifically live after Marvel's big panel on Saturday night. I've done enough talking. Alex, where do you want to start with our WandaVision discussion?
I think the big thing to do is start at the beginning. Episode 1. Film before a live audience. What an introductory episode. I still think to this day, this is the best episode 1 of any series from Marvel. I think it accomplished the one goal it had. It was to hook the viewer on the series, get you confused to the point that you wanted to come back for episode 2. Now, granted, this series we have to keep in mind, episode 2 and episode 1 came out on the same day. So, even then, if these released a week apart, I think it accomplishes that. It sets the tone for the show. It's weird, it's wacky, funny. There's mystery, there's intrigue. Are they going to answer how is Vision alive all of a sudden? So yeah, I think this.
Oh no! Did we lose him, folks? We lost Alex 6 minutes in, or are we losing me? Who knows? Let's check the live feed. Yeah. So I guess to go back to Alex's point,
First episode was.
Oh, we lost you.
This is so awful.
We
I
lost
told you I won the bet. I won the bet.
You did win the bet.
Less than 10 minutes.
You were rambling about episode 1. Go back.
It was great. It was again great hook episode, and I really enjoyed it. What about yourself?
Yeah, before I think we even get to episode 1, I kind of want to, I guess, share my quick thoughts on the show before we rewatched it. It wasn't my cup of tea, right? Again, I'm not a huge fan of these characters. Not to say I hate them or don't like them. It's just they're not my favorite characters. I was always really interested in the turns or where Wanda's character was going to go. I was invested in the twists and turns. The dialogue around the show was crazy. It was insane. That was probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
The Easter eggs, the cameos. Obviously Evan Peters coming back to play Quicksilver. Pietro was great. The show definitely fell short for me in some areas. Definitely the ending. On my initial watch, and we'll get into how I feel on this rewatch. But to get into episode 1, I think it's one of the funnier episodes too.
Yeah.
Very much a 50s sitcom. It is, I will still say to this day, the most different thing Marvel has ever done. That includes, Eternals now, Multiverse of Madness and Love and Thunder, being very stylized by their directors, being very much influenced by them. A 50s sitcom, really interesting, really fascinating, really well done. Obviously, we had the mystery of, Vision didn't know his past, right? They didn't know what their life was before Westview. We had the hearts. That was really interesting, that whole thing. And I guess we could kind of have a discussion about that because there's not a lot of substance in that first episode to talk about, right? But the stuff that happened. I think we even made the point when we were watching that episode that it was only of content. There was only 23, 24, 25 minutes. It felt long.
It was. It was a super short episode.
Right.
And I think the big thing that I want to start off with, because I think episode 1 is the setup episode. And I think when I talk about WandaVision, I think there's one glaring flaw. And I don't know how many times I said it when we rewatched it. The series doesn't know what it's doing with itself. It's telling this very tragic story of how Wanda processed the grief of killing Vision, then watching him die, and then dying, and then coming back.
Yes.
For nobody would be able to recover from that, and especially someone like Wanda, a reality warper of all kind. And to come back, the series does an amazing job at seeing Wanda dealing with everything. But the series doesn't know how to frame her. It doesn't know if it wants you to look at Wanda as a good person, a victim, or a bad person. I think it's a mixture of the three. But we're seeing as where we go after the show, I assume we were meant to see her as a villain, but I didn't get that. And I think this episode kind of hooks it in especially during the dinner scene when Mr. Hart starts choking on his food. And it's like when Mrs. Hart starts asking Wanda to stop it. How are you supposed to interpret that? Are you supposed to interpret that as, oh, she's just going along with it? Or do you think that Mrs. Hart actually, underneath Wanda's spell, telling her to stop it?
I very much interpret it as her telling Wanda to stop it, right? Like we see throughout the show that unless Wanda directly knows the people or they're like immediately going through Westview and she knows them, that she has the most control over them, as we see in that Halloween episode that we'll get into later. But I interpret it as like Wanda has moments where she can't fully control it. Now, again, I don't know if Wanda's really consciously controlling it fully, right? I think there's some. It's just she's so immensely powerful that she's just controlling these people. So I always interpreted it as her Mrs. Hart asking Wanda for help. Like deep down, it was Mrs. Hart coming out, the actual Mrs. Hart, not the one under Wanda's influence coming out and asking for Wanda to help out. And obviously, Wanda's like, "Yeah, Vision, go and get help." Right. So that's how I always interpreted it. Yeah, Alex, what do you think?
I think I want to die right now. Yeah, I think the series has a big thing. It doesn't want to tell us if Wanda knew what she did, and doesn't want to tell us that she's in control. Because episode 2 shows us she is in control. She's able to rewind time, make events never happen.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, okay. So are you in control or what? Like, what's going on? And again, right. I think episode 1 kind of displays it as like Wanda's maybe in control, but like not really. Excuse me.
Yeah.
And, of course, this episode also brings us into Agnes. We get Agnes
Correct.
into the show.
Correct.
We meet Norm and all of them. Characters like Norm, you think they just be the side characters, but they do play a big part in the show.
Yes, yeah, a couple very influential moments that Norm is involved in, a couple monumental moments. Okay, episode 2 now. This is we get Dottie, is that her name? Correct?
Yep, Dottie.
And we get the radio, right? We get the radio. So we hear the mysterious voice. We obviously will later find out it's Jimmy Woo. This episode is when things were like, whoa, what's going on here? So I actually like this episode better than I gave them both 7.5s. But I actually preferred this one because it got into more of like the plot, like what's actually happening here. In Westview, obviously we see the helicopter that's changed, that's in color. A lot of Easter eggs. What I really liked about this episode is throughout there was a lot of sprinkles of like, yo, what's going on? This is unusual for what we set up in episode 1. And again, pretty funny episode. Get 50 sitcom.
Yep.
Vision being drunk. That was funny, obviously. I just think another solid entry, different from what the MCU has done. Again, not much of substance, but it sets up the fact that people know something's up with Wanda. Like the outside world knows about this. And it's also, I think, the first commercial we get. It's the first commercial in this one or the first one?
Yeah, in the first episode. Because the first episode was the Stark toaster.
Toaster.
This was the Hydra watch.
Which again, we can go on a side tangent here. We know that those were strangers, right? So when you rewatch, I know this is a side question. When you rewatch the show, did those feel very out of place?
No. It just makes me question why didn't he come in? Like, where was he? He wasn't busy because the stuff with No Way Home hadn't happened yet.
It just feels so out of place. You're like, why were there commercials? Well, why, but like in the show itself, it just feels so out of place.
I don't agree because you have to think like framing these during like the shows. There's commercials during TV. So my thing,
I get it, but just from like a narrative sense, it's just
not at all. Also, because those commercials were a big symbol of Wanda's life. You have the Stark toaster that sounded like the bomb in their house. You have the the Strucker Watch, which Baron Strucker,
Strucker.
of course, introduced her to the Mind Stone. Episode 3 was the Hydra. No, yeah, I think it was Hydra Soak. Episode 5 was the.
Wasn't there a fruit?
No, it was the Lago. It was the Lagos brand paper towels. Episode 6 was the yogurt for survivors, and then episode 7 was the antidepressants.
Yes.
And so it's just like they make a big thing, which I still think the antidepressant is the funniest one because it's just like more and potentially more depression. So my thing with this is we found out after the fact by a writer, I think, or the director, that it was Strange who did the commercials. But if they already knew this, right? They knew that Strange was planned because didn't it come out that Strange did have a planned cameo for the show?
So the show was originally going to be 10 episodes, but because of the pandy, Benedict Cumberbatch could not come over and film, so they had to cut him.
Yeah. And so...
But then again, I feel like when I look back in retrospect, I thought 100% he was showing up in episode 9. I'm like...
Definitely.
But I feel like in retrospect, kind of... I mean, I like Strange better as a character.
Yeah.
So that's just my personal thing. It would have kind of overshadowed. It would have been big. Kind of would have overshadowed what... Even though the finale I don't think is great, it kind of would have overshadowed what we got. It was Wanda's story. If you bring in Strange, then that... And it also kind of dampens the dynamic that they have in Multiverse of Madness. So, I think.
Kinda. But I think also we're looking at Multiverse of Madness before they filmed with the pandemic where they had to basically reframe everything.
Right. Absolutely.
Especially because we have to assume that opening of Multiverse of Madness where Wanda brings Strange Morta's head, we have to assume that would be the opening if Strange appeared in WandaVision.
Right.
So, I think with me, I think if they would have told us that, Strange was actually the one doing the commercials, I think a reference to it in Multiverse of Madness would have been nice. Or something. Like some sort of acknowledgement that Strange actually did this instead of being told off screen that this happened.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, I agree. I give episode 1 about a 7.5, maybe an 8 on a day where I'm feeling nice. And I'd give episode 2, I think it's one of my least favorite episodes of the series. I'd give it a 7 or so. So, yeah, Touch That Dial gets a 7.
Yeah, I think I gave them both. Like, I gave one a 7.5 and one a 7. I don't remember which one was which.
Yeah.
And then episode 3, my favorite of, Paul Bettany described this show as, the first 3 episodes tell a story of the next 3, and then 7, 8, and 9. So the final episode of this first act, I guess you could say, my favorite of the 3.
Now in color.
Obviously, we find out in this episode Wanda is pregnant.
Well, no, we find that at the end.
Well, find out at the end of next episode, but her pregnancy is going crazy. In a matter of 9 hours, she is 9 months pregnant. So
with 2 babies,
with 2 kids. Monica Rambeau, right? And one of the weirdest fourth wall scenes where Vision looks at us, and then excuse me if there's an ambulance behind. That's me.
That's all right. You can hear my 20-something-year-old brother screaming like they're being SA'd, so it's okay.
Yeah. So Vision, Jesus, loud.
Jeez, they're going to your house right now. You
I don't
go check
know.
on your family.
No, they're going. Sounds like that way. Vision. Vision. Obviously, we get the fourth wall scene, and then it cuts away.
Yeah.
So what did you think of episode 3? Because it's my favorite of the first 3, and then we get the Ultron reference from Monica Rambeau.
Yes, big episode. I think the stuff with Jimmy was big, but then having Geraldine going from being like to being like, didn't your brother die from Ultron? I remember first watching it and being like, and having my jaw literally drop to the ground, like, what? And then Wanda's demeanor just like snap of a finger.
You get the Sokovian accent again.
Yeah, you're just like, what did you just say? It was crazy. She was the inadvertent. Like, I always compare the two characters and my two favorite they're not my favorite characters. Before I say that, my two favorite franchises have two characters take some of the most similar routes. And again, I ask you this: Anakin and Wanda take almost the exact same character story, but literally, this was their moment. That was like their big descent downward. Was like, well, this wasn't Wanda's. Wanda had a bunch, but this is one of the big ones. Was the mention of Ultron in the Hex, and Anakin, of course, had the thing where Palpatine brought up Padme dying on the fly. It was crazy. Again, I remember being absolutely like, what? And also, just this was the first episode to come out by itself. And yeah, it didn't disappoint. I think, if I'm trying to remember, this was the Hydra Soap commercial. So yeah, again, I really enjoyed this episode. It's really fun. Yeah, I think I gave it like maybe like a 7.75 or an 8.
Yeah, I think I gave it a 7.5, I believe. But what I really like is, and I think it's my favorite part of WandaVision, I'll get into it, is Vision piecing together what's happening, right? So this is the first time Vision starts to figure out something's up, because he talks to Agnes, and I don't know the gentleman who is friends with Norm. Herb? Correct? Herb,
H-E-R-B.
Yep. Why'd you need to spell it? Think I don't need... What?
Just in case, bro. I'm just being cautious here.
Yeah, so Herb and Agnes, and they're like, Geraldine is like, she's not from around here. She doesn't have a home. And Vision's like, what?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Paul Bettany's outfit in this episode, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
He's dripped out in this episode. And then when he goes to have a conversation with Wanda, it's like, where is Geraldine from? What's up with that? And Wanda's like, nah, that's just not gonna happen. And then, how do you...
That is not how the scene went down.
What do you mean?
He didn't ask about Geraldine. So what happened is the scene, because you're piecing together two scenes. The first scene you're piecing down is when he asked Wanda, then something's wrong here, and then Wanda glitches out the show, and then changes the outcome, and then he asked where Geraldine went. And that was in episode 4. Or we had to see the actual events in episode 4.
Oh, right. Yeah, so, okay, so what does he exactly talk about in episode... What is he actually... Yeah, in episode 3.
Yeah, in episode 3, he asks if something's wrong, and then he asks where Geraldine is, and then Wanda's like,
oh... See, yeah, that's what I was saying. Whoa.
No, you were making it sound like this Vision... The first conversation that they had, where Wanda like glitches out, or the show glitches out, and it's like a rerun, almost like it's almost like they redid part or
rewind, yeah,
like you accidentally rewound the episode. And then I thought you were combining that and the conversation at the end, because that's what it very much sounded like. I was like, whoa, where are you going with this? This didn't happen.
Yeah, but then Wanda, I just assume, like, I don't know, did she like wipe Vision's mind, or did she just... I don't know. How do you interpret that?
She's an Infinity Gauntlet. She manipulated time and was just like
backwards. Yeah, I really enjoy this episode. Crazy. And then now we move into
episode
dogs. Yeah. Episode 4.
Episode 4. We interrupt this program. I think one of the best, well-placed expository episodes ever.
Yeah, on rewatch though, it was really boring.
It was boring, but very, very necessary.
Absolutely.
I just noticed I am like not in frame. Yes. I do think that this episode was kind of boring, but I think it was super, super necessary. I think the big thing with this show was we weren't getting a whole lot of answers to where things were. Again, I didn't talk about it too much in episode 3 because I'm going to really get into it in episode 5, 6, and 7. Wanda, again, the show flipping and flopping if Wanda's in control or not. This episode really gave us where.
No, Alex. Okay, episode 4. For me personally, episode 4 was around a 7.5, right? Again, like Alex was saying, it was kind of bored to me, but it was a necessary boring, right? It also introduced us to a team that I like, right? Obviously, the big three of Darcy, Jimmy Woo, and
where the series wanted us. Hi, McDonald's. Thank you for picking up the phone. I would like to return your Wi-Fi, though.
Okay,
I'm not a fan of this.
You're back. You're back.
You can't accept returns? It was free after all. Okay.
All right, you're back. Make your point.
I was just calling my internet provider to see if we could maybe change Wi-Fi, but
it's so funny how you're going on these long spiels and then we catch like the end of it, and it's so funny.
Anyway, what I was saying was the show really, really tried, like this episode really tried to frame Wanda as she knows what she's up to. Until, of course, in episode 8, we find out she didn't know what she was up to. She only became aware of what she was doing and found some control in it. But yeah, I think this episode was good. It was good to see Monica, Jimmy, and all of them interacting. Hayward's a dick.
Well, technically, in this episode, he does have like a valid point. Like this guy's like, yo, we have this Avenger here, right? Who is literally creating it's literally trapping citizens, right? At first, we don't think he's going to kill Wanda, right? He is just curious about what is happening here, right? Alex is shocked still. He's frozen. But, he is shocked about what's happening. He is trying to process it, trying to figure it all out. And at this point, like, it's understandable that he deems Wanda a threat. We already know that, like, he knows, but we don't know as the audience that Wanda broke the glass inside the Sword headquarters and went more in the body of Vision, was presumably going to try to take it away. You're back, by the way.
I'm switching to my phone. I am giving up on my computer right now.
Okay, got it.
Switch.
Got it. But like I was saying, Hayward does eventually become a dick, but early on he does have kind of like a point, Wanda, an Avenger, is in control of of these people, and
you're gonna have to remove my other profile. There you go.
Yeah, I was just saying that Hayward at first was not a dick. He actually had kind of a valid point. Like they need to figure out what's up with Wanda. He actually has like a valid point. Obviously, Wanda is, he presumes, capturing citizens, taking over their mind. So he does have technically a valid point until he abuses that. But go on.
Yeah, again, I think with Hayward, he starts off like, yeah, man, I agree with this guy. Like, Wanda's a problem. Or she's becoming a big one. And, now my phone's about to die. Give me a second. Anyway, I'm just going to keep talking. You're just going to have to hear me from afar. I think where Hayward was going was he started off with the right idea with wanting to stop Wanda because, again, that woman kind of, sort of, maybe took over a town with her mom. Correct. Now, however, and this is the big thing here, is, as we'll find out, that man kind of did show doctored footage of Wanda presumably stealing Vision's body, but then didn't steal Vision's body. So
well, yeah, we also have to remember she does kind of break the glass there. It does kind of look like she was gonna steal the body, but she doesn't, right? Obviously, she doesn't.
mm,
So yeah, but again, it was great to see Darcy again. It was the first time we saw her since Dark World, so it was great to see her back. Jimmy Woo, obviously, Avengers, not Avengers, Ant-Man and the Wasp. Um, yeah, it was great to see him back. A great mystery. You know, we obviously learned about the missing person. Don't know who that is still. Um, yeah, again, that's one of the big problems with WandaVision. They set up stuff and they don't pay it off.
yeah.
And we learned that people don't have an awareness of Westview on the outside world. It doesn't exist.
Yeah, Eastview.
Eastview, but Westview does not. And then the episode ends with Monica getting thrown back out, right? Or no?
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the episode ends.
The name drops Ultron.
And now we go to episode 5.
Yeah. No, wait. Episode 3 ends with her getting blasted out. Episode 4 shows us. Wait. I think you are right.
No, episode 3 does show her getting blasted out now that I think of it.
Our memory of the show is bad. So.
Yeah. Sorry, folks.
Wow.
And what would you give episode 4? I gave it a 7.5 myself.
I had 7.5. Fine.
Yeah.
And then episode 5 on a very special first long episode of WandaVision.
Yes. Again, this is the first episode with the kids. Like adults, or not adults, but old enough to speak. This one I really love because this one Agnes breaks character and says, "Should we do that take again?" And Vision's like, "What?"
Yeah.
What? I think my favorite part of this episode, and like I said earlier, it's my favorite part of WandaVision itself, is Vision discovering what's happening. Him, put it on his detective role, discovering what is going on in Westview. Right. This episode, he also uses the power of the Mind Stone to see into Norm. We also get the email from Sword. Right? It's from Darcy, I believe, right? Is that email from Darcy?
I think so.
About, trying to get in touch with Wanda, right? Vision or whoever. And Vision in this episode learns that, like, Norm's being under mind control. He sees the whole thing with Agnes. And then at the end of the episode, we get the epic, the episode, yay, it's a sitcom, yay, it's ending, yay, yay, yay. And the episode doesn't end for us, the credits roll, but we see, Vision's freaking out. He doesn't know his life before Westview. And then just Pietro walks in. Quicksilver, played by Evan Peters. This was when we went crazy, obviously. This was my favorite episode up until this point. Like I said, Vision uncovering the mystery of Westview. We get Wanda with the kids mostly, and Sparky, who lasted less than a day. Great job, kids.
Come on, children.
Well, it's also Wanda's fault because she just leaves the door open.
Yeah, like she hears something and she's just like, hold on, I gotta go real fast. Wait, you gotta close the door. Oh, Sparky's gone.
Yeah.
Wanda, we expect better.
What did you think of episode 5?
Dude, I thought it was great. Again, I think Wanda and Vision great in this episode. I love Norm in this episode. Like that scene with him was great. I thought Agnes was great in it. Especially, again, you just noticed stuff like Vision call Agnes out, but calls Wanda out like, oh, I just have this sneaking suspicion that someone's going to come by with the exact stuff that we need. And what do
Right.
you know? Agnes come by is with a dog, with a dog cage and whatnot. We see Wanda becoming much less with her powers being hidden as she does something in front of Agnes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is like really like the beginning of the end for Wanda. I think this is when she realizes that I have a perfect life right here, and I don't need it. I think also a big thing that we also skipped over was Wanda leaving the Hex
Correct.
and approaching Sword, and that was crazy. That was crazy because number one, again, I think the big thing to remember is that just goes to show her power. Like she is able to not only keep the Hex going, but keep everybody in it going while she's gone. She changes the border from clear to like scary dark red. Um, I think it was crazy. I think that was Wanda cementing that she's not to be your friend anymore. Wanda is gone.
Right, absolutely. And it's simultaneously the turn of Hayward. And it's a justifiable one up until a point with him, right? Because she's literally threatening them. But also he was unjustified in going in trying to kill her um, in the Hex, as he tries to do. Yeah, that was a crazy scene. She literally walks out with it and says, "You will not come in here," such and such. And then turns the guns onto Hayward. Crazy scene, crazy scene. But yeah,
Yeah,
again, Vision was this. I think the strongest part of this episode. Him having to deal with the fact that, like, is he real himself?
yeah,
What's going on here? Like, he loves his wife and he understands her rationale in most things, but in this situation, he's like, I don't really know. We're usually on the same page, and here they're not. And then obviously Evan Peters as Quicksilver comes back. I wasn't a huge MCU fan. I had watched some of the films, but the X-Men films, those were ones that I weirdly enough had watched. I'm like, yo, that's Quicksilver. That's awesome. What did you think of the end of this episode? That was already fantastic at this point. What did you think of seeing
I
Evan
would
Peters?
skip over something like pretty massive from episode 4 that I just remembered, and that was Wanda seeing dead Vision.
Right, creepy.
Yeah, it's not only creepy, but I think that was a big like shift for Wanda. Like, oh, I think that was a big shift for the audience. Is like, oh, did she steal that man's body and just bring him back to life?
Right.
That's not morally right.
No.
And then we get Pietro back. I'm gonna make it be known. I didn't watch the Fox X-Men movies when this had come out. I was just so when he came out, I was like, "Who's that?" It was so bad. I was like, "Who are you?"
Right. In
Well,
retrospect, when I look back on it, I should just brought in Aaron Taylor Johnson. That's kind of a waste. Just rated Evan Peters to him be a boner Joe. Eh.
yeah, and then just like I don't know. Then going online to see like everybody freaking out about it, I was just like, "Whoa, guys! Like, I don't even know who that guy is. Like, can't be that big of a deal." And then being like, "No, that's Quicksilver from the Fox movies." It's just like, aren't those bad movies? Why do we care? um, so yeah,
He goes out like a bitch in Apocalypse, so.
yeah. We don't talk about that movie. Um, yeah, that's
Yeah.
really all I
I would give
feel
this
like.
episode an 8.5 out of 10. It's my second highest rated episode of the show.
Yep, and then I'm about to have my top rated as the next one. Episode 6, All Halloween Spooktacular.
fantastic. Again, it continues with the Vision's story of him trying to figure out what is going on. Him
Yeah.
trying to leave the hex. It has one of the creepier scenes, I think, and one of my favorite scenes in the show is when he is trying to talk to that lady that is literally frozen. These people are literally frozen. They have no consciousness, no free will, no ability to move.
Yeah.
The music, everything is so well executed. Obviously, we got the Halloween vibes going. So again, Vision, great part. Him leaving the hex and then him having his body sucked back in. We're like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa, what is going on here?
Yeah. I wonder what would have happened if Billy hadn't said anything. Do you think he would have come back somewhere else, or
She would have figured it out eventually. I think. Like, what the hell is Vision?
she seemed pretty over over him in the next episode? So
Yeah.
who knows?
I also really loved Evan Peters in this episode. He was great as had the comedic side to him, right? As Quicksilver as the weird uncle, the young hip uncle. He was great in that. And then obviously a big Tommy and Billy episode. We see them get their powers. Tommy, obviously the speedster, like Pietro, and Billy, obviously. Um, what what would we call Billy? Not a sorcerer, just what would you call Billy?
He has Wanda's powers.
Well,
That's
but
it.
I
He
wouldn't
doesn't,
call Wanda a sorcerer. Wanda's a witch.
which in the comics, don't call him a warlock. He will freak out on you for calling him that. He is a witch.
He's a witch himself. Okay,
Yes, he wants to be called a witch, not a warlock, for some reason.
got it.
Yeah, just the dude. I think an underrated thing that we haven't talked about a lot from this episode is the costumes, the comic
Yes,
costumes. Very. It's funny because they look stupid, but that's because they look stupid in the comics.
Visions is so funny. I still can't get over it.
And Wanda as the Sokovian fortune teller, and Vision as the Mexican wrestler.
What's up, DeBurger? How's it going, my man? Yeah,
Ooh,
so funny. I love obviously Quicksilver, with the hair and the fit so good. Um, Obviously another funny scene in this episode is when they steal all the candy as speedsters. That's a great scene. Which I would totally do if I had speedster abilities.
I'm stealing everything from every store. That's I might even
I
go.
wouldn't go that far. Jesus, I was just saying candy, not stealing from stores. Holy, this
I might go into the back of Spencer's and not be told not to. Like it just might happen.
guy's always trying to get us canceled here.
What?
So yeah, again, my favorite episode, gonna get a 9. It was suspenseful, it was dark, it was like, yo, whoa, that was crazy.
Well, and
Um,
I'm just skipping over so many big parts.
what else am I missing? Well, obviously the big thing, Vision leaving the hex,
Pietro kind of breaking
dead.
Wanda's like fifth wall, seeing him as dead. Also, but his line about Vision, like, "You can't kill your dead husband twice."
Right.
Like, oh, what do you mean by that? What do you mean he can't kill him again?
And then get away.
Yeah.
And then the hex expanded, right? The hex expands at the end of this episode.
It expands like 10 miles, bro.
Yes, the hex quadrupled in size.
So extra, so extra. I will say though, Billy's power in this episode seems so much bigger than Wanda's.
He literally could sense where Vision was. He sensed.
Not only that, he can see the future. Like we see in episode 9, he sees Wanda choking the people out before she does it. Wanda can't do that. Oh, Wanda, you're lame.
You know who I kind of equate? And Billy's definitely more powerful than this, but I could see Billy becoming like the father on Mortis, like that powerful.
Mm.
That's what I could see for him in the future.
If we ever see him again.
Oh, we will.
Do better.
You don't think we'll see Billy again?
Of course, I hope we will.
He's your favorite MCU or his favorite Marvel character.
I don't know how you bring him back though. Like 838 twins don't have powers. Multiverse is
Billy could die, to be honest.
You know what? If you're subscribed,
ice cream.
He like
stop.
like every child should.
Stop. I know it's kids saying it, but stop.
Why?
No, listen.
Derberg, you're not on my list anymore. I want you to know
Wanda's
that.
gonna have sex with Wonder Man. That's how we get Billy and Tommy.
Oh my goodness. Oh my. Cringest scene in the whole movie by far. If I could say some stuff, I would, but I'm legally not allowed to.
Got it. What else do you want to talk about? What happens with Monica and Darcy? Oh, that's right. Darcy becomes a clown. Jimmy Woo goes with Monica, and they're going off to.
You want to know where they're going off? They're aerospace engineer. And you want to know who that aerospace engineer is? Some random military guy.
Girl. Yeah. Like, you don't just, that's a Chekhov's gun, right? Like.
So dumb.
It's a Chekhov's gun.
The show of setting up and never following through.
You don't just say aerospace engineer and it like that. Like, it has to be somebody significant.
Not only that, bro. Like, you say that after also hearing that we're gonna get like mutants, the Fantastic Four coming into the MCU. Like, you can't say that kind of shit.
But that's fan expectation. I'm just in the context of the show itself. That's a Chekhov's gun. You can't just say it.
I know. I'm saying that, but I'm just saying you can't say that and then say, "Oh, we're gonna get someone really smart to come onto the show."
Right. It was just a military person.
Military woman.
Not Reed Richards. Now again, it would have been weird if it was Reed Richards, but like, you don't have to reference that it's an aerospace engineer. Well,
just you need a scientist or something.
Yeah.
I need someone who can get me the equipment I need. Bam. That's it. Come on, I expect
somebody else is saying ice cream now.
Good. We need ice cream. We like ice cream like every child should. Come on, Drew, you need to sing you're the next line. That's rude.
Sorry, could not deal with that. Episode 7.
My voice here does get silenced.
Yeah, it will like echo really loudly, and then you'll miss like 3 words, and then I'm like, okay, I try to piece together what you say, and I'm like, oh, that made sense.
No, I'm amazing. Thank
how do
you.
I sound on your end? I mean, I sound good on YouTube, but I don't know how I sound through the phone. Do I sound good?
Yeah, I don't know how I sound. I'm just here.
You sound okay, but you'll skip, like, it'll just skip words randomly. Like, the words will, I don't know. It's good for Android quality, I can't lie. But, no offense, Android. Episode 7.
I see. What is going on right now?
The chat likes the ice cream song. Star Wars. We have Star Wars. We have the actual Star Wars. What's going on, everybody? How's it going?
Yes, I'm a fan. That we're all a fan of ice cream.
Oh my God, William Turner, ice cream. Yes. Everybody loves ice cream here.
Yes. Bro.
This is my favorite episode of Wars in the Stars now. 77 episodes in, and a joke about Billy and Tommy singing about ice cream is my favorite thing ever.
My favorite song. Thank you, everyone, because it is my favorite song. It seems like it's everyone else's.
Agreed. Episode 7, my friend.
Episode 7, Breaking the Fourth Wall. It really broke my fourth wall into the depths of awful episodes.
It was just boring. Oh my god, another ice cream. Bro, how many people are in here, bro? This is awesome, but like, ice cream.
I'm literally refreshing, and hold on.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to watch. This is fun. It's awesome.
Hey, if people want to come in just to say ice cream, I won't complain.
No, I won't either.
Yeah. Film, or I just said film before live audience. Breaking the Fourth Wall was just okay. That's like the best way to describe the episode, really.
I mean,
ice cream.
Yeah, so Wanda's losing control here, which is really interesting, right? Yeah, Vision meets up with Darcy. This is kind of just like a plot pusher episode, right?
Before you go, I am going to try to join
via computer.
Yes, just so we don't have any like audio problems.
Okay, got it.
So if it worse comes back to my phone.
Got it.
At least
Perfect.
As far as I'm aware, the quality hasn't dropped in terms of how you look at me.
No. We all like ice cream, as every child should. Correct.
Yay! More ice cream chats. Go
Episode
us.
7. Yeah,
Oh, there we go. That was a quick transition.
Yeah, episode 7. It's a very much a plot pusher. I guess the way I could equate it, or which way I could equate it to, is like Kenobi episode 4. Very much a plot pusher episode, right? And his internet went out again. That's fantastic. What? So sad. Yeah, his mic quality became better because he's been having internet problems. So, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Alex has been having some internet issues. That's a common thing here at Wars in the Stars. It's either one of us. None of us have good internet sometimes. But yeah, episode 7. Monica re-enters the Hex in this episode, I believe, right? Yes, Monica re-enters the Hex. You went out for a second, by the way. Okay, here we go.
Not even 3 seconds. It was
sorry.
I also just saw somebody say their ears stopped bleeding. We'll fight.
Your ears are gonna bleed again, possibly. But yeah, episode 7, like I said, I like the ending of this episode, right?
Keep talking.
Comment.
Oh my goodness. Oh, for the P butt lot. Okay.
Monica Rambuti.
Monica Rambuti! Stop that.
Yeah, what'd you think of episode 7?
What'd you say?
What'd you think of episode 7?
I just thought it was... I think he's honestly said it best. I think it was just like Kenobi episode 4. Like, it was good, but like...
It was better than Kenobi episode 4, but yes.
Was it?
Yes.
I would rather watch Kenobi episode 4 than this. I think the problem with this episode is it only has 2 good minutes, and that was Agatha all along.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's why I really love this. I totally forgot that was this episode. Yeah, so at the end of this episode, obviously, Agatha brings Wanda downstairs. We see the Darkhold, right? Yeah. We see the Darkhold. We learn it's been Agatha all along. Again, we haven't talked much about Agatha, and that's because she's in...
Durberger thinks Dead Vision was kinky.
Like Dead Vision was kinky him. Yeah.
And then he also said Kenobi episode 4 was actually great. Why is everyone hating? Exactly. I don't think it was great. It was good.
Great. You're gonna learn that most of the stuff here I don't even like. So
I know he's a fake fan. He actually only started watching for WandaVision. Wanda is his favorite character, but he doesn't like to say that on air.
Correct. I mean, everyone's got their kinks. I got a thing for Loki, so
I got a thing for murdering kids, but I think we should just put that away.
Why does this guy take it to the extreme every time? I love it, but I don't love that. But yeah, I don't love killing kids, but
who endorses me to kill children? You've heard it here first.
I don't endorse them to do that. No, but again, Agatha being revealed as the villain, I wouldn't say it was a massive surprise. It's just that she wasn't developed enough. She was the nosy neighbor, obviously, the over-friendly, the surprisingly always knowing Agnes. She knew what to do right away. Very manipulative, very close to Wanda. It was just, that was it. We would get like a scene or two of her in every episode. There was no build up, right? We get more of her backstory in episode 8 and 9. But again, it's the start of the MCU Disney Plus problem where the villains are just underdeveloped. They're just not simultaneously developed with our hero like they were in Moon Knight with Arthur Harrow. So yeah, that's my big problem with the reveal of Agatha. It's episode 7, the end of episode 7.
Yeah, and then episode 8 is like a deep dive into Wanda's backstory. Wait, I didn't see that in the YouTube chat. What is that? What did that say? I watched the whole stream and Hammy needs to be put down like a dog. Yes, I agree. You guys see what I have to work with here?
I think this was a bot. This has to be a bot.
No, I don't think so. I'm not seeing it pop up on the YouTube chat, but
oh, yeah, that's a bot. 100%. Alex bought that bot and made him say that.
Definitely, I have $2.02 in my bank account. So if we want to go ahead and say I bought a bot, I bought a pretty cheap bot.
You did buy a cheap bot. Yeah.
I'm not a bot.
So, whoa. Episode 8. Or do you have final thoughts about episode 7?
It was bad. It's like my lowest rated episode, and I give it a 6.
I give it a 7.5. I liked it a lot more than you. What's up, Derpy Gaben?
What is going on today?
What?
We have never had such a fun and active chat.
Like it's fun. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Hashtag candy in my van is better than Hammy. Out what?
Scott West, you are officially on the nice list for me.
You're officially the worst member of the Wars of the Stars community.
Whoa. We love everybody equally, but I just love Scott West. You like 1% more than the rest.
We do. We appreciate all of our people. By the way, thank you everyone for coming in. Subscribe. Please subscribe to the channel. We're live every Wednesday. Please subscribe.
Wow.
In a month and a half.
Scott West, if you really love me in like a month and a half.
Oh no.
I really didn't think What? What?
And that's nice because I've always said this about Alex. Alex is the type of kid that got bullied for being a nerd. So
no, hold on.
Oh, he just left. What is this? The show. What is this? Yeah, you all should subscribe to the channel though, for real. I don't know where Alex went. Where did you go?
I accidentally exited out of StreamYard.
Where did you go?
I'm trying to pull up StreamYard. I'm gonna add myself back on the computer. Don't add me into the stream though.
Okay, just got it.
On my YouTube chat, I'm not getting any of the comments. Like they're all either wrong or like something.
Oh,
no,
shit. I did the thing you told me not to do. Sorry.
Okay, there we go. Let me pull YouTube chat over on this screen so I can like read you guys. Okay, there we go.
So let's move now into episode 8. Very.
Yeah. Poor me. Poor Justice. Right? You say I'm the one getting the box.
Justice for me. Yeah, let's move into episode 8 now. Previously on. You like this episode a lot more than I do.
I think it's the best exposition dump episode of any of the Marvel series. Like,
I think it's better than the Loki finale.
I think it's better than the Loki finale. I think for me personally, what makes it better than the Loki finale is, I just love the personal journey that it brings us for Wanda. I think it's really good. I think it's really good. Don't swap people. I think it's gonna be worth it. I think it's a really good like character study for Wanda. Like Wanda always went from one of those, I don't want to say like boring characters, but she was just kind of there when it came to Civil War, Endgame, Infinity War at times. But this series really like shoved her into us. That's what she said. And I really do like this thing of Wanda. This show, I think, is Wanda. I think it will forever be Wanda at her best. Specifically, you know, Elizabeth Olsen's acting at her best. Okay. Whoa. Oh my. Wow. Jesus. So I think for me personally, I like this more because I feel like we get more exposition than Loki. Oh no. Oh no.
Why?
Oh, it's my internet on my computer. Why should I be surprised that it lagged out on my computer? So yeah, that's what I feel. I just love the exposition on this episode more than like anything that Marvel's done so far.
Yeah, I would say, you know, Loki episode 6, obviously the season finale, because of Jonathan Major's performance itself. Plus, we also get the stuff with the TVA and Ravonna the Renslayer. That also adds to that episode. This episode's really just about Wanda. A scene I obviously love is that scene where it's Wanda and Vision at Avengers Compound.
Yeah.
And Vision is trying to understand like what love is. He doesn't understand Wanda's pain because he can't. But he's there to comfort her. And then that awkward moment where he laughs at a sitcom and then he's just smiling like weirdly. It's so funny. I really love that scene. Yeah.
I love Vision. I love Paul Bettany. I mean, as much as this show is WandaVision, it's Wanda's show. Don't read chat. Don't read chat.
I haven't. I don't care.
Yeah. I'm done reading it for now. I love you guys. Y'all freaking me out a little right now. But yeah, I think for me, I think Paul Bettany's just super, super good in this series. It makes me really sad that we didn't get this earlier in the MCU.
Wasn't time for it, if I'm being honest with you.
I mean, it's just like the thing with Wanda though is it's just like it feels like in every project she's in, she's like the 9th most important person, which is really sad.
Well, in her 2 projects in Phase 4, you can argue that in Doctor Strange, it's just as much her film as it is Strange's.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a bit different in Phase 4. And obviously, that's the way it's going.
Hold on. Durburger, it's not time to dip because we're about to talk about the finale here in like a few minutes. And you guys haven't even heard what we have to say about San Diego Comic-Con. Anyway, Where were we saying?
I was just saying that in Phase 4 so far, in both those projects she's been in, she's arguably been the best character in both.
Yeah. But again, it's just like we take Age of Ultron. Tony was better. Cap was better.
Right, but we also have to acknowledge that she was intended to be like the ninth most important character.
Yeah. But then we go to Civil War. Cap was better. Tony was better. Widow was better. Clint was better. Vision was better. Rhodey was better. Sam was better. And so we look at that. Wanda's nowhere up there. We look at Avengers in Infinity War. Iron Man's better. Guardians are better. Strange is better. Spider-Man's better. Cap's better. Rhodey's better. Like, that's kind of my problem. Oh my goodness. Jesus.
Just don't read the chat.
It's hard not to. So it's just, that's kind of my problem with Wanda's character up to this point, was she was always least important of the bunch.
But, sorry if you hear ambulances behind me.
Again, check on your family, bro. I think for me personally, I'm a big fan of Wanda finally getting the spotlight. And I think episode 8 really was just like what we needed for her.
Yeah, it was great to finally get. Oh, I don't mean to cut you off. It was great to also finally get the backstory of why she has such resentment for Stark, right? I mean, we understood it, but to actually visually see it, actually to visually see, like the Anakin-esque visions she sees of herself becoming the Scarlet Witch when she touches the Mind Stone, with Strucker and Hydra's experiments. Really well done. It was. The reason I would say I don't like it as much as Loki's finale is, again, I think Loki's finale had a good balance. This was just exposition. And it was really it was a good performance from Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness. Obviously, we see she's very manipulative. Would not make a good therapist.
No. Wouldn't recommend.
And we also see her backstory, obviously, as a Salem witch, right? Very interesting, very compelling. Probably something they touch on in House of Harkness. Don't know what else they touch on. But yeah, to see her, like, how much more powerful obviously she's an allegory for the situation Wanda's in, right? Wanda is extremely more powerful than any sorcerer. We saw that in Multiverse of Madness. And Agatha was the same way. With her clan, she was easily more powerful. She had, I don't know what is purple magic in the MCU? Do you know what that is?
Magic.
Yeah.
Dark magic.
Yeah, infinitely more powerful. I like this episode. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah. Oh my, excuse me. I'd also give about an 8.5 out of 10. I think it did a really good job of showing us Wanda. I wish Vision would have gotten an episode like this, of just going Vision exploring what being a human is like.
That's fair.
But now we move in to episode 9, the series finale. What a definition of mediocrity. It's there. It's there.
It's okay.
This episode by all means is not bad, but it's not great either. I really think what's good about the episode is like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's really sad. It is really emotional. It does work really well for me. Wanda losing everything again and then being back in the same spot she was when she created the hex, what we didn't even mention. She created it because she was big sad.
See, Padme died of sadness. Vision was reborn of sadness.
Sadness, yeah. Yeah, that's a really nice way to end the show. But weird, obviously, when we see her character next, because it's kind of like at the end, it's like she kind of almost accepts it, right? That she can't be with her family. This is how it is.
Mm.
And then also very good conclusion for Monica Rambeau and a good setup for her as Photon Spectrum in the Marvels. She was really excellent. Her stopping the bullets in front of Billy and Tommy was really good. I love her character. I can't wait. She's besides Kamala, I think another character I'm really excited to see in the Marvels.
Yeah.
That was great. Her story with her mother and how she understood Wanda's plight. I like that. But this finale is just it's there again. White Vision introduced at the end of episode 8. There's that great dialogue about the ship of Theses, right?
Yep.
Is it if it's all replaced? Is it the same ship? That philosophical debate that was really good. And then obviously, Vision imprints all of his memories that he can't access into the White Vision, and the White Vision is now off somewhere, and we haven't seen it. We don't know where he is. But again, and then Agatha, that whole fight, it's good, it's fine. It's just this finale is just there. There's nothing crazy that happens.
Well,
I mean,
Wanda becomes the Scarlet Witch.
We
find out Scarlet Witch is more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme.
That is monumental, but it's just like it didn't work. It's not like a moment like where T'Challa comes back in Wakanda Forever, or like Thor at the end of Ragnarok. It's supposed to be the big boom moment of the show, and it's just like, okay, I just saw a bunch of action for like the last 20 minutes, and that's not the reason it doesn't work for me is because it swayed away from what the show was. Right? I think that's a big problem a lot of people have. And Ralph Boner, we got bonered. What?
We got boned, and we got boned in the finale.
I don't get it still. Now, you still think it's Quicksilver multiversal. It's Quicksilver from the multiverse.
And then he got unfortunately stuck in the hex.
I don't know. I don't know what to think. I don't like it. I don't like how it ended. Yeah, this finale is just it's there for me. It's a weaker finale. One of the weaker MCU finales, I would say, in my opinion. Because it swayed away from what the show did well as a character study of Wanda and it being different stylistically and visually, just all that. The weaker finale. The ending was really heartfelt, right? The goodbye between Wanda and Vision. I give this finale like a 7.5 or an 8.
Yeah,
generous
I think
8.
I think I'd give it also a 7.5. So yeah, I ultimately think WandaVision upon this rewatch grew for me. I think it got way better. I still don't think it's in the top 3 MCU shows. I don't think it's the best Phase 4 project by a long shot. I think it's definitely up there, but it's not in the top 3. It's not. I wouldn't even argue to say top 5. And we'll definitely talk about that when we talk next week, I believe we said.
Right.
So yeah, that's my overall feeling about this episode and WandaVision, honestly, as a whole. Good. Could have been much better though.
Yeah, on rewatch, some episodes got better for me, but overall, like I alluded to earlier on the show, WandaVision was just not my type of show, not my type of jive. I appreciate how it was different than other MCU projects for sure. I enjoyed the character study. I enjoyed the 9-episode format. Sometimes it felt like the episodes were too short. I don't feel like there was a lot of good payoffs. I think very weak villain. I think 2 very weak villains. 3, Hayward, White Vision, Agatha. There's just not a lot of depth to them, in my opinion. Wanda, fantastic setup, I think, for her. Vision, I thought, was a standout in a lot of episodes. 5 and 6 are the 2 episodes I really love. So that's 2 out of 9 that I really love. 8 episode 8 I really enjoy, and then the rest of them were like okay, right? And in total I gave the show around when I added up my score, it got around like a 7.8, right? So I added up all my scores divided by 9, the number of episodes. It was around a 7.8. When I adjust it for my personal preference and things I can measure, I think WandaVision will get a 7.5. That's very similar to what I gave Miss Marvel. I would say I would prefer watching this over Miss Marvel. But yeah, just not my type of show. I think it falls through the cracks with some things, and I don't think the payoffs are fantastic. They just don't work for me. And yeah, I mean, again, Vision and Wanda, the two titular characters of this show, standouts. They were great. Billy and Tommy were really good, but the other aspects, I think, fell a little bit flat for me. So 7.5 out of 10 overall. What do you give the show overall for you?
I'd also give it a 7.5. I think the more you think about it, I think when I look at it, I'd say my favorite episodes were 1, 3, 5, 6, and 8. About 5 out of 9. And I feel like when I adjust for my personal enjoyment, I'd really go up from, like, let's see, 5 divided by 9 is a 55%. I would adjust it up 20% just because while I wasn't majorly high on those other episodes, I did enjoy them nonetheless. So yeah, that is what my rating for Wandavision is. 5.
Yeah.
Good start to phase 4.
Yeah, decent start, I would say, for sure. All right, let us now move into our second topic. A San Diego Comic-Con preview. So obviously a big weekend for Marvel Studios. They have a couple of panels. They have one for the animation side of things. I believe what we know that they're going to show is What If Season 2, X-Men 97, and Marvel Zombies. Nothing about Spider-Man freshman year, interestingly enough, but they said they have other surprises, so I assume that's the other surprise. And then Kevin Feige coming back to Studio H. They haven't been there since 2019, post Endgame, when they had the big announcement for WandaVision, Falcon, Eternals, Shang-Chi, Thor: Love and Thunder, Hawkeye, all of that, and Blade. Mentioned mutants, was nuts, was crazy. And then DC will also be there.
Yeah.
The Rock, Shazam, Fury of Gods. But the big thing I want to touch on, and we'll touch on this first before we get into our Marvel discussion, is the fact that there's a possibility, Alex, and it's right here. There's also, this is according to Deadline, there is also buzz that Henry Cavill will put in a surprise appearance to talk up more Superman.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Crazy. Never in my mind did I think we would ever see this man come back as Superman. Like, never. I thought it was just like done deal. We were done. And he's coming back is great. I think it's higher hopes for the DCEU or DC as a whole. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear that we could see him, but I'm not excited to hear that we're not going to see Star Wars. That's a little upsetting, but staying on the positive realm here. Drew,
well, Disney never announces, Star Wars never announces anything at San Diego Comic-Con.
Bill, it should be there. It should be there.
There is one problem, however. Henry Cavill is reportedly filming The Witcher still in the United Kingdom. So he might not be at San Diego Comic-Con. So who knows? But my thoughts on this.
Be a video.
Could be. But him in person, nuts.
But nothing will ever top Loki being there.
Yeah. Yeah, bringing him out would be nuts. That would be crazy. Obviously, I really enjoy him as Superman. Um, I think he's one of the best casted for a role. Obviously we talk about Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Chris Evans as Captain America. And I think in that same vein, you got to put Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther. And I think in the same vein, you got to put Henry Cavill as Superman. Like, Henry Cavill is Superman. Like, he just is Superman. I don't love Man of Steel. I like Man of Steel a lot. Again, I'm not a huge Zack Snyder fan. I don't love everything he does, but I enjoy his interpretation as Superman, and I love Henry Cavill and Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and not Joss Whedon's film, but Zack Snyder's film. I enjoy him in. I just don't know how valid this is. I don't know the validity of this because everything we've heard is that post the Flash, the DCEU is going to be reset. And it's been talked about that Henry Cavill's Superman, but presumably not exist. General Zod would be the one who killed him as a baby. Yeah. And that Sasha Callie, right? I don't know. Who's playing Supergirl would be the new Superman-esque figure of the DCEU post the Flash, which is still happening somehow.
I don't know. Could you imagine they bring something out for the Flash? I'd lose. I would not be able to cope.
Yeah, that would be unreal. But yeah, so Henry Cavill coming back would be fantastic. Yes. Would be fantastic. I'm gonna put a doubt on it. But if he does come out on the stage, wow, that would be crazy. Because I'm tired of headless cameos.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam, obviously we got a headless cameo. And in Peacemaker, we just got him as a float-in figure. So yeah, I would love if Henry Cavill came back. He's like he's him, as we would say. He's him. So Superman, he is Superman. So I'd be really excited to see him in the story again. I just don't know how it's going to work in a post-Flash world from everything we've heard about it. Now let's get on to the good stuff. Marvel. So I want to ask, we're going to do a little bit of a game while we do it. What are some projects you guarantee we're going to see? What would you like or hope to see? And what are your outlandish predictions? We know Feige likes to drop some juicy stuff on us. What are your outlandish predictions? So we'll start first. You can start wherever you want, Alex.
I'm going to start by adjusting my camera.
Okay.
Okay. So, make sure you're not looking at my tits the entire time. I know they're attractive. So we're going to start what do I think will be shown?
Okay.
I think a Wakanda Forever trailer, maybe an update on X-Men 97. Maybe some updates on things like I Am Groot, Guardians Holiday Special, Werewolf by Night announcement, stuff like that. Maybe if we're super lucky, a first look at Guardians Volume 3, but who knows? Yeah, I think that's really what I think. From what we know is coming out, I think that's what I think is going to be shown. Or
what you expect or think. Okay.
Yeah. So I think, again, for animation, update on I Am Groot or a trailer. X-Men 97 trailer, update, images, whatever. And then for movies, I think we're definitely going to see a Wakanda Forever trailer. I think we might get a Werewolf by Night announcement. I think we'll get a Guardians Holiday Special announcement or teaser or something. And then maybe if we're really, really good, we'll get the Guardians Volume 3 teaser.
So what do I expect? So I expect some footage for She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We obviously have the official. Yeah.
I thought about you.
But it's a month out, so marketing's got to start ramping up here. We're about 28 days out, I believe. So marketing's got to ramp up. And I would also add Black Panther Wakanda Forever, right? We're a little under 4 months until that movie comes out. And we haven't seen any footage yet. Again, Marvel's doing this thing now where instead of releasing footage 6 months out like they used to, 6 or 7, 8, sometimes even 9 months before a film came out, closer now 4 months, right? We saw this with No Way Home. We saw this with Love and Thunder. We're now seeing it with Black Panther Wakanda Forever. So I definitely expect the trailer to be shown at Comic-Con for Black Panther. I expect some footage for She-Hulk. Maybe an exclusive teaser there, but some footage will be shown to us as well. Released online. At the animation panel, definitely a What If Season 2 trailer.
Yeah.
X-Men 97 footage and Marvel Zombies footage. At the very least, some footage, concept art, something of that sort. And then something else I expect. I don't know how much I expect besides that. I think those are kind of the 5 things. Oh, and a Werewolf by Night announcement, because that's going to come out presumably around October. So it'd be nice to announce it. I mean, you kind of got to announce it 3 months before it comes out, so people have an idea that it's coming out. Maybe bring the cast out, the director, that sort of thing. So yeah, that's what I expect.
Okay. No
what
Guardians. No Guardians.
Well, when we get into the stuff I think or hope for, you'll see then.
Okay.
What about for your think? What do you think's gonna come?
Everything I said.
So you're expecting the think are the same.
Yeah.
I think we'll get some footage, maybe for Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, or an update of some sort. I would say the same thing for the Marvels, for Guardians Volume 3. Now, James Gunn tweeted on his tweeted today that he asked who's going to San Diego Comic-Con, kind of him insinuating that he's going to be there. And I think we'll get a clearer picture of what's coming out in 2023. Just a better schedule idea of what's coming out next year. Again, we also have to put into mind that it's being reported that D23 is going to be where the majority of their big announcements are. Because D23 hasn't been in person for a while. Marvel, obviously, under the Disney umbrella, they want to go big there. But, Feige loves Comic-Con. He wants to, not let those fans be disappointed. I also think we'll get an official announcement of Blade coming out, being that November film for next year. It's being reported that the movie is going to be called The Blade, played by Mahershala Ali. Again, my most anticipated movie next year. So I think we'll get the official announcement that that's a 2023 film. So that's what I think is going to come out. Now, the last one. What are your big hopes? What are your outlandish thoughts?
I want Guardians and Ant-Man trailer. Teasers. Pictures. Something dark side. That's what I want. I would love
full-on trailers. Wow. That would be nuts.
Teasers.
I know, but still, a teaser? That's nuts.
1 minute. Come on. 30 seconds. 15 seconds. Come on. Something. We got to. Got to, man.
Any announcements that you would want to see?
Or actually, now thinking about it, maybe a Spider-Man 2 for the PS5 trailer. I don't know if they're going to be doing any gaming stuff this year. So, who knows? We never know. If I could have anything be announced, ooh, I would have, even though I think this would be a Disney Plus thing, a Young Avengers Disney Plus show announced. Because why not? Because why not? Why not?
You ready for my outlandish?
Sure.
I first look at Kane the Conqueror. Just a picture. Literally just a picture.
But a teaser trailer would be so much better.
Right, you could have a teaser and then at the end it's just Kane. Which I would go nuts.
Of course.
Secret Wars. At least announce when that film's coming out.
Dude, that's such a D23 thing, though.
That is such a D23 thing. But also just Feige at the end being like, thank you, everybody. And then just slapping up a picture of all the movies. And then you see in 2026, Secret Wars Part 1. That would be crazy. That'd be nuts. The first Mutants project announced. We believe it's going to be called The Mutants. So that being announced as a film would be crazy. These are outlandish. I don't think these are going to happen. I don't know. There's really not a lot that they could announce, right? I mean, there's things that we know are happening that haven't been announced, like Wonder Man, like Thunderbolts, that sort of thing. Shang-Chi 2, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the a 10-range show with Xiaolin. That hasn't been announced. There's some miscellaneous things that they could announce, but overall, I think San Diego Comic-Con, while big, will not give us any new announcements besides the official confirmation when Blade's coming out. I think safest things, right? Black Panther Wakanda Forever, She-Hulk, obviously the animated stuff. I think we'll get trailers for, at least first looks for, and Guardians, Quantumania, the Marvels, some cast updates, maybe some footage. So that's what I really expect. We will be live afterwards to talk all about it. I don't expect it to be as massive as 2019, but I expect it to still be very big, very monumental, and very cool. So do you got anything you want to add?
That is all, my friend.
All right, so that's going to do it for episode number 77 of Wars in the Stars. As always, thank you for watching. Be back next week for a Falcon and the Winter Soldier re-review and a Phase 4 discussion. Going to be a longer show, I think, because we got a lot of thoughts on Phase 4. As always, may the Force be with you. May you stay burdened with glorious purpose. And we will see you next Wednesday at 8:30. See you later.